four years ago. 4 years. I hit the nails ago. That later, so they not had us there whole that sad and not let it sad get out of the edge. I hate the AIC here, but if you all get his building, if you all get his not I don't let Bana or Catalana. I don't let go did Asha daily. So the no that in the field so for AIC though he had additional so I could almost chair. I see them. This is the best committee that I've been on out of my way that not only nationally but on the way the 21st council, 23rd council, 24th council. So this is the best committee. So it is I think I don't know under your leadership the chairman Ned I don't he can chat the that John Ray that she's had a lot of tech what now what the say is around they had hot and how long and the hat and hasn't hold this I see and they don't need I don't know what I hear the nail the or that I can deal so I see by hands and or it is a hospital Mr. Chair, thank you very much.
Honorable Daniels for your statement. Nathan Hodo Ashka Shewinton at Hidden Snago. Next Wednesday, our last meeting though, January 4th. So, any other announcements?
Vice Chair, Chair, is Dalgibagay.
Honorable Begay, thank you for being on the call with us. Now, introduction.
Chairman.
Honorable Freeland.
Good morning, Chairman, colleagues and staff. I appreciate what my older brother just said, and everything that he said, I do concur. And it's been a good ride with you all, my colleagues, and thank you for your leadership, Chairman. Vice Chair Walker. It was a very humbling experience for me, and I got a lot of experience, but mainly growth. And I think as leaders, whether we're going to continue or not continue, we always will be humble. And, knowing that going forward, knowing in our hearts and in our minds, we did our best for our people, and no one can take that away. And despite all the criticism that we received, unless these people walked in our shoes each and every day, especially during the pandemic, they'll never know what we went through or what we saw or what we heard. And just that comment, I always think about the comment that you made at council, Chairman, and it's absolutely correct. And we even went as far as getting graded. And I that's so mind-boggling why that happened, unless these people walk in our shoes each and every day and try to keep up with us. That's something that I'll take away. We know what we did. We know how hard we worked. We know what we sacrificed. And now I get to go see a doctor. I get to see my kids. And that was always secondary to this job. I couldn't see a doctor. I had no time. Can't go to the dentist. I had no time. Now I get to catch up on my health and see the doctor now. And, for me, it's always a humbling experience to say that I was a part of the Resource and Development Committee of the 24th Navajo Nation Council. It's been a real honor and experience for me, Chairman. I know that next week is our last day, our last meeting, excuse me. That day, my chapters are actually gonna be putting on a dinner for me in Farmington at the Sunray Casino. So if you, I would really like for you to come join us at 1 p.m. if you're able to come. My colleagues and staff, my chapters will be putting on this dinner or this appreciation dinner, farewell dinner for me. But it's not really for me, it's for all of us as well. And I hope you all can join us that day, next Wednesday. But I just wanted to mention that. And, you know, I take away a lot from this experience. I take this experience. I don't think I've ever worked so hard in my life. And like I said before, I'm tired. I'm drained. I'm worn out. But in my heart, I'm at peace. And that's what I get to leave with, is knowing that we made a difference in so many of our people's lives going forward. And that's what we get, the takeaway is, especially with this committee. And, you know, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. And I look up to each and every one of you, even my little brother, Honorable Stewart, and even the staff and what they do, their roles, Ms. Khan, everyone. And, you know, I'm thankful. And Edia, Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Freeland. I remember every winter, you and your LDA, Mr. Ben Whitty and others, Eastern Agency, people still talk about that. So, yeah, I appreciate you doing that for the elderly. But I hope in the house, you stepped in, Honorable Freeland, with the volunteers that helped. So thank you, and God bless you and your family. Any other announcements, Shananda? And then we'll go down to number 2, recognizing guests and visiting officials. We'll just have introductions, starting with Honorable Vice Chair Walker.
Yes, Chairman, though, committee members, as well as other colleagues of the 24th Council, and the staff, Ahi and Mr. Mose, and got the Mayer, the East Agi, also, Nika Natchahigi, Besindale Nishigi, Ada, also, Nana, Thomas Walker Jr., Edition Dida. Banash and Shigi in the way southwest part of the Navajo Nation. The opposite Western Agency, Joe had a Bedani Jeko Loop to Lonnie Lake, Bird Springs, Cameron, Coman Canyon, Shlako, Dawson, Fadahuis, Banash and Shiko. The Anit also, but they need initially. Ela kone zaten doba anes na tasmila isna hazako adot netai kane jay bandil nisho or yel bishwas andeko ko eko ba hela mo sabe da istigi da hes ba hensin shido abe shaho ado honzaho nan they need eko o eko ado don't enchini do panasha so ado the ahazun lako don't ejilin gi hat ado jo ka majido haje masan hache analidat do panje do patizin lako do be ahazun yo go hesin chusazin do yida ashin hensna nana pi petroni to the chini Olieko. Ado what's something should say that it's a dish national. Ado the betra easy that the Western Agency that aja kid had Kosani three or KGK what the hikaho tabekaya itan itlila ko ato ton etan lenido hayit atla kehanit ko bilchuda hinil bilkeda hiti ko dawta hisa ashin ota de nahazat ko ba kehla ka large ya pe del ni kliniki bikaho ado technique kliniki shi bikaho de ko ka large need ko what what I said about this chairman or committee members.
Yeah, Honorable Vice Chair Walker. Thank you. Honorable Kiel and Begay Jr.
Chairman, good morning. Other committee members. Kudos that Hanati and Slonky on the 8th of Jab that it does say other this chini does another. 5 chapters could all but had the Shaki a Luma and Tachiku get Falanakan with now many other uniforms. So did Angie, that's the thing of the chairman, Dashi and John started it.
Thank you, Honorable Begay. Honorable Daniels.
Thank you, Kudo, Mr. Chair. Yeah, Ado Kudo, Herman Daniels Jr. A. Suji. But on the age legal, the scene A. Dasije. We had Lini Dasichi. Ado Haska A. Dasanala. Not like Edgitini or Leslie Benebie. Ado Nana Banash Sige, not the on or Zeto. Santo, I don't that floppy kid. Bingo has on a real yet. I don't know on another had no even dash I don't know what the Banash to a hot Sunday at a Western agency as a RDC as a class that representing a Western agency. Thank you for that, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Daniels. Honorable Freeland.
Chairman, good morning. My leaders and staff, my colleagues. Good morning from Eastern Agency, Crown Point. And as I look north, it's a beautiful sight outside. And as the sun comes up, to see the snow and the moisture that we received, and to see the Bensa off in the distance, it's a beautiful morning. It's a beautiful sight. And we're blessed every day. Every day we open our eyes, not eye. Shay Mark Freeland this year. Aradothanigi Tutsoni, Shlon Kia Ani Asia. Senji Canada Shache. Adatana Bethley Adish another. I represent 8 chapters out here in Eastern Agency, Crown Point. Nahadishki, Ahe, Becenti, White Rock, Lake Valley, Herfano, and Nayaze. Good morning to one and all. I look forward to our conversations today, and we have a historical agenda, and I'm really looking forward to our discussion today. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Freeland. Honorable Stewart.
Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Vice Chair. This morning, colleagues of the 24th Nomination Council, staff from President, Vice President's office, also our division directors and other staff and community members as well. Good morning to all of you. Jay Wilson, C. Stewart Jr., A. and Chiado, Twitzo, and on his education, Precious Chin, Cutting the Shade, Doping, Point the Chanel. And then, but for the Shagi, A. South, so big a cheat, one to the one you did. Okay, theme, but not the from 45th Agency, A. But Hadasha. Under the 45th Agency for Representation for the Resource Development Committee of the 24th Nation Council. And Hustledeans and that this morning. Each and every time we have a meeting, we always come together like this. So thank you very much for this time. I'll consolidate for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Shitchella. Honorable Stewart. Okay, you have recognizing she have one son and son or Zay touching Bashish chain to not be in the shade okay on the area had the chanel. Whatever the Nenchnido, Chan one chapter holy Edo a Naya Stango chapters Panash Nishige had set up on doesn't not need and then Nizra do el Kai is Church card is Nesh is at Eben on not Hodo here on not Queen Hill not found that is not Kujanda so gives the Dr. Yellowman or some lots of Jim at all. Leanne Roy, Daryl Bradley, and others, it's Honorable Elmer Bigay, Croissant, Hadin, Hadal, just and Hudding, his one nod or Lake. Team RDC, Bahadal, just our advisor, Mr. Tahi.
Good morning, Chair, members of RDC, those online. My name is Rodney Tahi. I'm the Legislative Advisor for Resource and Development Committee. I'm Kiani and Sencha Kenan, and I'm originally from Steamboat, Arizona. And I want to say thank you for that beautiful prayer this morning, Thomas Walker. It was a very, very great day to start this morning with. Back to you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Tahi. Mr. Mose.
Morning, Chair. Chair Lermo and Chair 20 to the then I shall Hanagani Bashi. I shall slow Hanagani Bashi cheese. I see that you stayed out 12 hours in the welcome, everyone. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mose. I don't care what him is calm.
Oh, yeah, Arnold. So good morning, one and all. Yeah, Edenishik. Shay Mariana Khan, Dashajine. Don't end a slinky 8 hole shit leaning, but Annie Bashishin, last chair does it say, Senator Kina a dashanala. How could our son nisle? I hear Shiaj, I hear Sago, Nahasodinzin. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful prayer, beautiful language, beautiful words. Thank you very much. It has a place in my heart and is all around me today. Thank you very much. I am here, first one in the office this morning. Very slippery road coming in, but I drive sensibly and have a nice new tires. Thank you very much for working together on the business of the Resources and Development Committee. I am listening today for any questions you have. Thank you very much for this beautiful time together. I am listening, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Ms. Khan, for your dedicated work that you always put in for RDC and the council as well. I said and so the nation legal. What on and Liston Hanan Lishik and Saga Ms. Khan. I don't begin for long only. Next, Mr. Joaquin Yates from Speaker's Office.
Thank you, Chairman Nez. Good morning, all. Honorable members of the Resources and Development Committee. This is Joaquin Yates from the Office of the Speaker, Legislative Staff Assistant. Everyone, good morning. I'm proud to be here and assisting RDC with their important agenda. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Yates. I don't know Honorable Elmer Begay.
Yat Bernez, Aranda, members of the Resource Development Committee and the staff there. So Yat Ibn Shiga Idan, Kudo Sidejiko, Adon and Slinest is a top on slow, Tolity, but it's seen Legend as you see, last year, the Schnelle, go Yat Ibn Adodi Yan. Since this morning, I don't listen but listen to all your comments and I don't think your introduction though. I don't think you know so I'm interested on the working together and for 4 years ago beat nach go chance go. Na se do a ye go dat ba yelti of om se go se go. E da hot go. A be ka ya go. O de da hat in le ja be git no is go. Se le begin ta kes go ashen ni Frage oder sind so die nicht unser Risiko nicht verloren da ist schon mal sondern Chida da nicht nach da nicht Chile und der India in da hat sie wird nutzen nicht das wird ich bei jetzt und nicht verloren ich hol sie Risiko Benan dot is legal no he should buy yield people and so go a resource development go as we get no in no sound or the skill and just a lot of be hollandiki kai hollandiki no sound since so the in na ebe in hagi since so be e buy yield even na shit so the he can so that's a whole disco I don't know the gender gido roads behind in gido around I todo gale that the yes that they be not in the Jesus father little songs so I didn't yet or do get that they yet up me here and he dishes for hundreds of dollars
Yeah, and on Hitchell, Homer Begay. Thank you for always being respectful. Aro dan can be by Yanstiko, Yoba Jensen. Thank you very much. Jane on it, all Dr. Yeoman.
Good morning, Chair. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, honorable members of RDC, and to our staff who are on the call, and council delegates who are joining the call as well, and to my colleagues who are on the call. Good morning and Happy New Year. Wishing everyone a good and safe New Year and a new year that's coming up. So just want to wish everyone to continue to be safe and continue to watch out for each other, everyone on the call. So appreciate this time. Shay Pearl Yalaman and Shea Auto and Schlinigi Shay Tana Bitlin Schlandog is a Tana Bushish Chin Bobahandashi Che Auto Hanala Nedashanella Auto Lay Twin is Desada and Nasha Auto Shadchenaholo Ta Shadchenaholo Atash Kido Nakit Ake. And I represent or work through the Division of Community Development. Also have staff on the line, and we appreciate this time. We're looking forward to the agenda. Just want to say that we appreciate our working relationship with RDC, and I think you've become more than oversight to us. We've really learned a lot from each and every one of our oversight RDC members. Each member has a leadership quality that has either mentored us or guided us the last 4 years, and we appreciate that. Each of our staff appreciate being able to go to RDC and work out certain issues or challenges that we're faced with. And we were able to overcome quite a few challenges. Some things we inherited as a division. We inherited certain challenges, and we were able to overcome those challenges with work sessions with RDC or with BNF. And we've accomplished a lot. And the successes we've accomplished are not just DCD successes, but they're combined with RDC. And we really appreciate that. And we believe that what we've worked towards is not to be felt at Window but to be felt at the community level. And that's always been kind of our philosophy. So also just thinking back, which is still going on, is the pandemic and COVID. Our numbers are high again. And we're one of the 2 divisions that have not stood down. Even our building is still Central Command. We're still in a major declaration. And we work closely. I was just thinking about the very first team that went out to Chilchimbito. That was the Red Berry team. And we were there to assist the Red Berry team. And that was March 13th. And we have not stood down since. It was mentioned earlier that we were graded. We were graded and criticized by people from the comfort of their own homes who had electricity and water, while we were out there serving people who didn't. So until we exchange those paths, pray for everyone on the call, for compassion, for understand what it takes to be out here, what it takes to be out here to serve, to give up your family, to give up your personal life, many aspects of your life, to be in your office or to be out in the community 10, 15 hours a day. I've seen that from a lot of our colleagues on this call and leadership. So until that happens, how those who grade us exchange, we just pray for them. Pray for all of our leaders. There's incoming leadership coming in. Extend my gratitude and well wishes to them, and also very thankful for the President's office, President Jonathan Nez, Vice President Weiser, for their leadership. They will always be the pandemic leaders who guided us through this pandemic. So, just want to say that much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yellowman. We certainly appreciate your staff at Division of Community Development. You're always respectful. Thank you. Ms. Lotzer Jim Martin.
Good morning, Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
This is Lotzer Jim. I'm the ASC Department Manager with the Division of Community Development. I do apologize. I have been recovering from COVID and my voice does sound a little scratchy today. Thank you, honorable delegates, for having us on this call today, and a Happy New Year to all of our leaders and those listening to this session today. I do want to just echo what Dr. Yellowman and Delegate Freeland shared. ASC has not stood down from the COVID emergency response. I myself have been on duty since the beginning of the pandemic and have avoided COVID until now. So I'm thankful that I was able to get my boosters, and thankful that for all the frontline staff and the hospitals out there who are still working diligently to provide us care and vaccinations. So I'm very thankful for RDC committee members for supporting us over this pandemic and helping us through all the challenges we've experienced. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jim Martin. Certainly appreciate the work that you do for the chapters as well. And so from NDOT, Ms. Leanne Roy. Daryl Bradley.
Good morning, Chair Nez. This is Daryl Bradley. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Daryl Bradley and Shed sitting on Ginny and Shilling Tortage eating a Bashin Sanjikin Dashinella, Nashi Dashiche. I'm the Navajo Division of Transportation. I'm the principal civil engineer with the program. And again, I greatly appreciate working over the last 4 years with this Resources and Development Committee. We've accomplished a lot, with a lot of improvements on our roadway system. Obviously, we don't have the funding to adequately address all of those needs, but I think working with chapters, working with the local communities, we've been able to make progress, in various areas. But again, thank you very much for the opportunity to present the Tribal Transportation Improvement Program later on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Let me, Mr. Roland Shows and urgently Doug Helando.
Good morning, Chairman Nez, and honorable members of the Resources and Development Committee. My name is Roland So, Chairman of the Chilean Agency Grazing Committee. What's on in Schlendo on a bus chain destiny, the Shinaldo Top Mahatas Cheto, Hidini Dolation and Arnold Asano, Zenego, Ashibino, Anit on hidden and Nasta Shadot job, Shiniki Hajit Lido, or Shinki.
Yeah, Mr. So. Chair, you have corona snana relation and Anastheniki. Number 3 on the agenda, reviewing and approving the agenda. Mr. Tai, could you read that into the record, sir?
Chair, members of RDC, you have the proposed agenda read as follows. Resource and Development Committee of the 24th Navajo Nation Council, special meeting, December 29th, 2022, 7 a.m. Presiding, Honorable Ricky Nez, Chairperson, Honorable Thomas Walker Jr., Vice Chairperson. Location via telecommunication. 1. Call the meeting to order, roll call, invocation, announcements. 2. Recognizing guests and visiting officials. 3. Reviewing and approving the agenda. 4. Reviewing and approving the journals. None. 5. Receiving reports. None. 6. Old business. None. 7. New business. A. Legislation 0264-22, an action relating to Resource and Development Committee, approving the FY 2023 Navajo Nation Tribal Transportation Improvement Program. Sponsor, Honorable Mark A. Freeland. Co-sponsor, Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. B. Legislation number 0269-22, an action relating to Resource and Development Committee, approving the Navajo Nation Joint Farm Board Conservation Plan template for use by individual permittees of the Navajo Nation Major Irrigation Farm Project. Sponsor, Honorable Ricky Nez. Co-sponsor, Honorable Mark A. Freeland. C. Legislation 0270-22, an action relating to Resource and Development Committee, approving amendments to the Plan of Operation of the Division of Community Development. Sponsor, Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. 8. Close the meeting, announcements, and adjournment. Chair, members of RDC, that is the proposed agenda read into the record. Back to you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tai, for reading the agenda into the record. Honorable members of RDC, let's have a motion and a second.
Chairman, I'll motion.
Thank you, Honorable Freeland. Second by?
Second, Chairman Stewart.
Honorable Stewart. Thank you. Any comments or questions on the agenda, Shananta? Going twice. Going 3 times. We'll do a roll call vote. Honorable Vice Chair Walker, how do you vote?
Chair, I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Begay.
Chairman, votes green.
Thank you. Honorable Daniels.
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Freeland.
Green, Chairman.
Thank you. Honorable Stewart.
Green, Chairman.
Thank you. We have a vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting, motion carries. We do have an approved agenda as is before us. Number 4, reviewing and approving journals. None. Receiving reports. None. Old business. None. New business. Number 7, Shananta. Legislation 0264-22. Honorable Freeland's on the call. Mr. Tahi, could you read this into the record, please?
Chair, members of RDC, you have legislation summary sheet for tracking number 0264-22, date September 16th, 2022, titled the resolution proposed standing committee resolution, an action relating to Resource and Development Committee, approving the FY 2023 Navajo Nation Tribal Transportation Improvement Program. Purpose. The purpose of this legislation is to approve the FY 2023 Navajo Nation Tribal Transportation Improvement Program. Resource and Development Committee has final authority over this legislation, which will be read into the record in its entirety. The primary sponsor of this legislation is Honorable Mark A. Freeland, co-sponsor Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. for tracking number 0264-22, an action relating to Resource and Development Committee, approving the FY 2023 Navajo Nation Tribal Transportation Improvement Program. Be enacted. Section 1, authorities. The Resource and Development Committee has oversight over roads and transportation to oversee planning and coordination of all roads and transportation activities of the Navajo Nation. 2 NNC Section 500C6. B, the Resource and Development Committee has oversight authority over the Navajo Division of Transportation. 2 NNC Section 501C1. Section 2, findings. A, pursuant to 25 CFR Part 170, Subpart D of the Tribal Transportation Program, the Division of Transportation is charged with performing a critical function in the collaboration with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, local, state, and federal agencies to develop a tribal transportation priority list. B, the Navajo Division of Transportation prepared the FY 2023 Navajo Nation Tribal Transportation Improvement Program, TTIP, Exhibit A. Projects listed on the 5-year TTIP have funds programmed for preliminary studies, including culture, environmental impact studies, right-of-way central line surveys, and design, construction, engineering funds for construction administration, and construction funds to construct roadways improvements. C, the Resource and Development Committee approved the Tribal Transportation Improvement Program and is to be submitted to the Federal Highway Administration. D, approving the FY 2023 Navajo Nation Tribal Transportation Improvement Program is in the Navajo Nation's best interest. Section 3, approval. The Navajo Nation hereby approves the FY 2023 Navajo Nation Tribal Transportation Improvement Program as found at Exhibit A. Attaches Exhibit A, which is the 2023 through 2027 5-year Navajo Nation Tribal Transportation Improvement Program, submitted by the Navajo Division of Transportation, dated December 2nd, 2022. Then you have the first report, the Navajo Nation Legislative Branch Internet Public Review Summary for legislation number 0264-22, sponsors Honorable Mark A. Freeland. This legislation was posted on December 20th, 2022 at 7:11 p.m. The 5-day comment period ended December 25th at 2022. There was no comment supporting this legislation, no comments opposing this legislation, no comments or recommendation on this legislation. Chair, members of RDC, that is legislation number 0264-22 read into the record. Back to you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Tahi. Reading the legislation into the record. Honorable members of RDC, let's have a motion and a second.
Motion, Stuart.
Chairman, Thank you, Honorable Stewart. Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair Walker. And nothing again. Is there any comments or questions?
Mr. Chair, this is Daniel.
Honorable Daniels, let me go to the sponsor, Honorable Freeland. You have 20 minutes. Please identify your agents as well.
Hakushi, good morning. Shanata, Yananate. Thank you for the motion. Second motion. This legislation is a submission to the Federal Highway Administration for the 5-year T-TIP travel improvement plan. And what it does is it allows NDOT to work cohesively on areas that are identified through this plan. So my agent is Mr. Daryl Bradley, and I appreciate him being on this call this early this morning. So Mr. Bradley, if you want to give the committee a little bit more insight and overview of this particular request legislation to the Resource and Development Committee.
Thank you, Delegate Freeland and honorable members of the Resources and Development Committee. I just wanted to give a brief overview of the process that led up to this 5-year plan that's being presented for committee action. Many of you are aware that this 5-year program basically is how we utilize our federal funds from the Tribal Transportation Program to deliver transportation planning, design, construction, and maintenance activities on both our BIA and tribal road system. Just real quickly, just to give you an idea of how daunting this task is, Navajo DOT and BIA are responsible for over 5,000 miles of tribal roads and 6,200 miles of BIA roads across the nation. 15% of those roads are paved and the other 85% are unimproved dirt roads. We also have 179 bridges in our inventory that we are responsible for as well. So this program, allows us to identify projects to address, those needed improvements across the nation. A little bit of background: the Navajo DOT conducted a work session with RDC on June 27th, 2022, to review and discuss at the time, the draft Tribal Transportation Improvement Program. After that, we also conducted 5 agency public hearings on June 12th through the 15th, July 12th through the 15th, and July 21st, 2022, to present this Tribal Transportation Improvement Program to the community. We also received public comments from the community on the plan as well. Those public hearing minutes are also presented in the TTP as an appendix in the back if you haven't had a chance to review those. So that captures questions and input that we received during those public hearings. This as an additional note, also the Navajo DOT has prepared a number of bridge program applications for 20 existing bridges, requesting funds from Federal Highway Administration for both design and construction. One of the requirements of those applications is that those bridges have to be on our approved TIP. So there'll be a number of bridges submitted as part of this T-TIP. So again, the T-TIP addresses our highest priority needs across the nation. I think as we said previously, we utilize our long-range transportation plan, as part of developing project recommendations for consideration. The Tribal Transportation Improvement Program, we programmed the TIP based on receiving $60 million annually from Federal Highway Administration. Of that $60 million, we utilized $42 million devoted specifically for construction. And that's the bulk of what makes up this TIP as far as, these projects have been identified to receive this amount of construction funds, depending on the fiscal year that it's been programmed for. As you recall, I also, during our work session, presented that to address a number of leadership comments with regards to disparity of distribution of funding in the past. We put this 5-year plan together with equal distribution of the construction funds per agency, so that no one agency gets more construction funds than the other. So, that was important to address those leadership concerns. We also added a bridge list at the end of the T-tip to address 16 existing bridges that have been rated in poor condition. And that's been the priority by Federal Highway Administration, to address these poor condition bridges as part of applying for these bridge funds for both design and construction. And then once this T-tip is approved with an RDC resolution, we'll be submitting that to Federal Highway for their review, and everything's in order. Then that'll become the official 5-year plan that will follow over the next 5 years for the program. And so, with that, I think many of you have had a chance to look at the Tribal Transportation Improvement Program. It's a very lengthy document. Each project identified in the program has its own unique sheet and financial information in terms of what we'll spend on preliminary engineering, what the actual construction budget will be, and what year we plan on delivering those projects. So and again, just to give everybody an idea of the challenge that we have, although I mentioned previously that we've programmed 42 million for construction. When you look at costs to construct nowadays, we're looking at almost 3.3 million per mile to construct roadway improvements. So you can see that $40+ million doesn't go very far annually, but nonetheless, we do what we can with the funding that we receive to address our highest priority needs. So with that, members of the Resources and Development Committee, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those. Thank you.
Honorable Freeland, does that complete your presentation?
Chairman, thank you very much. Mr. Bradley, thank you very much. Yes, that does conclude our program, or excuse me, our presentation.
Honorable Daniels, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and the Resources and Development Committee members, staff, the legislation, the 5-year T-tip, the projects Research Council, RDC, I know that 5-year T-tip is not sleep. I call ADG them. And then even that's the slim song ADG them. Those projects that was on the 5-year T-tip, the 23rd Council, RDC, and not sleep. Those projects are they completed, or I don't know especially in these mountains are Navajo people that live especially during the winter season. During the winter season, the cold season, when we get snow, when we get rain, usually you would see vehicles parked alongside the road. I don't know how wash it or that. So that this case that I don't agree that. I'd like to get an update on N16. there's a road between the road in Zapikin area. N16 it starts from Tonalia. I would say about 4 or 5 miles north of Tonalia. There's a turnoff that in the way Zapikin and it goes all the way down to Navajo Mountain. Navajo Mountain, Goya N16. AD gate between Tonalia and Crossroads. What is the status of that road, that project? This case is that the RDC. We did a tour. The adequate come down Navajo Mountain the Tarati. The chairman Naz Donana Kodo Delegate Freeland out of Tarati Kaiho. The way from Navajo Mountain, there's a road that goes east. It goes down the canyon, Paiute Canyon, and it goes back up Paiute Mesa Kajaratin. That people in that area are constituents. They use that road. They utilize that road every day. Every day, but not from Paiute Mesa. They cross the canyon, go up to Navajo Mountain. School of that Chinese not they get a call 80 Baba Bashine. Halita Baba the Bada de Nathan Soya Quedo. I call Baba this case. I don't know. There's another area in Navajo Mountain. It's called Navajo Canyon. Ahuya so Nakeda so Ada Baba this case is at the date. Halita Bada de Nathan Soya Quedona Gate, I don't take sheet and some deed at the 5-year TTBG. I call a Baha legal chair, but I the 23rd Council TTB allows AD get I'd like to get an update on that one too. Quedona Gate. Mr. Chair, on Soba Hospital. Let's go. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Daniels. Let me go back to Honorable Freeland as well as Mr. Bradley.
Thank you, Chairman. Shana, Honorable Herman Daniels. Always appreciate your input and your concerns. I'm going to go ahead and give it to Mr. Bradley for the response.
Thank you, Delegate Freeland, and also thank you, Delegate Daniels, for those questions. Great questions to address much needed improvements in a very rugged and very challenging terrain to build roads in. Before I address the individual road improvements, I just wanted to kind of give everybody an update on the Delegate Daniels mentioned what has been completed on the previous 5-year plan and how many projects are still left uncompleted from the previous 5-year plan. We've completed 17 projects from the previous 5-year plan, totaling almost $200 million in construction, across various parts of the nation. What we've still have uncompleted are 8 projects that have been carried forward into this new 5-year plan for completion. And a lot of these projects are major road improvements that require significant cultural resources and environmental work on them. The challenges of getting those approvals have delayed those projects, and we continue to work with our regulatory agencies at the Navajo Nation to try to get these projects ready for construction. We do have the funding that's been allocated to those projects, but we can't execute and advertise the construction project without those approved environmental submittals as well as rights of way. So 8 projects, Delegate Daniels, are being brought forward into this new five-year plan. With regards to, some of the projects, I know that, it's challenging all over the nation, as I reported earlier, the number of unimproved earth roads, out there are just daunting. We do dedicate almost $4.5 million of this federal funding towards our maintenance program. And that maintenance program, I think most of you are familiar with the regional route blading, the 15 miles per chapter. That's our way of addressing those immediate needs on those critical regional routes identified by chapters. That also includes all of the snow removal and any emergency activities associated with washouts during the monsoon seasons, repair of these roads, and ideally it would be great if we could, build these much needed culvert and road improvements. But the challenge that we have is we just don't have the funding in order to adequately address those types of repairs. As I said earlier, most of our major road improvements, and I'm talking taking a dirt road to a paved road, is costing us over $3 million a mile. And so given an appropriation of roughly $60 million annually, that funding doesn't go very far to address those types of needs. You mentioned N16 from US 160 just east of Tonalea, kind of running diagonally towards State Route 98 near Subican. That N16 portion, that road is being addressed utilizing some of our other funding sources from our road funds. We've completed, I believe, a 2-mile chip seal, and we're working on another 2 miles starting from Crossroads heading southeasterly. Obviously, we still have a number of miles to go to continue that phased approach of improving N16 in that area. And so, that's just a quick update on where we stand with that. Unfortunately, N16, that segment is not included in this 5-year plan, but it is under a road fund plan that's been allocated funding. Regards to the road from Navajo Mountain to Old Jato, I know that there's been a number of activities there, meeting with leadership and the community to, drive the road and assess, what type of road improvement is needed in order to connect those two communities. It's as I said earlier, that terrain is very, very challenging. The existing road that's out there, is literally carved into the side of these, this beautiful area. But nonetheless, we've identified, alignments that have been established. There have been a number of engineers' estimates on what it would cost to build that road, and obviously, if you're familiar, Delegate Daniels, the cost is very, very high. And again, any future improvement along that corridor would probably have to be constructed in a phased approach. As I said earlier, with this 5-year plan, the allocation per agency is equal distribution. And so what that means is that in this case, Western Agency, that's where this particular project is located. Western Agency over the next 5 years will receive $42 million in construction funds. 42 million. Now that has to cover, every request coming out of Western Agency, and same would apply to Chinle, Fort Defiance. Each of those agencies would be allocated 42 million of construction funds over the next 5 years to address those needs. So it's daunting. I do applaud that. I know the community has been working with Utah leadership as well. And, it sounds like there's been maybe some commitments made from the state to try to look at this particular corridor and as far as being able to, design and construct a road improvement in the future. But with regards to this 5-year plan, there's been no funding identified to construct any portion of this proposed road improvement. However, we do utilize planning, planning funds to put together these types of assessments and cost estimates to prepare us more for seeking out possibly other funding sources, to build such an improvement. But that's just a quick update, Chair Nez and Delegate Daniels on the question, and I'll turn it back over to you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Next in the queue, we have Honorable Kealan Begay Jr.
Chairman Biate, good morning, hello, committee member. Di ko I just like to ask a few questions for the central agency. I know road and in Bedainisто Atik Kwage legislation hitan so the chance of it being revised with the incoming council. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. The main one, first one, the Noslini, I know that's the only bridge that's listed on there for N26 8 from the Chinle agency. I know there's quite a few bridges that's needed out there in the central part of the Navajo Nation, and is it set in stone, or could it be modified within the next 4 years? I know I've been trying to sponsor legislation for the N26 bridge. It's not ready, no, but I guess it's now it's ready, which is good. With the assurance that N26 bridge it will still be intact. Now the other one, the key 64 mini farm is going to eat I know 12 million based upon it in the larger Coco it's quite the phase the key the quick machine Kate need the stock quite I believe it was three phase. I know, the one thing that I kept telling community member in that area is that the one thing that a lot of these projects were not that the NES date just because of the COVID. That the no the sato bahate koko I know the office has been saying that Kodo 2023 in the start the date now what's the assurance of that the construction start at the coming 2023 what's the exact date that this particular road been in the store list. Although I'm planning to have a transition meeting with the incoming delegates. It was supposed to be today. Because of these meetings, again, people don't realize that. I mean, I'd like RDC when they if it wasn't for the inclement weather, council session was going to start at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. But now it's 10 o'clock. But anyway, my transition meeting rescheduled to the 3rd of January. Chairman, possibly I request to NDOT of all these existing roads list the roads that were completed, the roads that were the roads that are in progress, and those are on tip or those that are on future proposals. What I've been working on in the 5 areas and the agency level. The agency, because I know Pinyon to Hard Rock, I mean, we got the 32 million or 37, 29 million. That's the best on it. Nilo Ajakat. I think the Bahant Bahat Aja Boko Jokodat Ego Adakocha in 12. I know it's complete. I know there's several areas that they continue to be dealing with. And then, of course, the fencing up to Round Rock area. Because huge teen Linigi then of course the list in 251. As you know, like I said, they're pushing to initiate to get it a paved road. No, the band that is being Chahada has to arch a core Johadat Eco Ilahit Koto. The transit of it to the incoming delegate in making the ben dajnisto tapakagi dit nasnet be jo but ishan eto nisto again the question always is that will they pick it up or not. I mean, that's the question. But again, how much of this particular legislation that we're going to be approving will be intact for quite a while, and that it falls through. Then of course the BIA and the counties and the the one area in a way I know it's always a disappointing chairman, as you know, that I serve with my brother on the state task force, chairman, Mr. Freeland. I've been bugging NDOT about several right of way through the Navajo Nation. The month of December 16th, and Arizona Department of Transportation, they did their board meeting in Chinle. Again, in that, though even the BIA were not even in attendance. Even I've been bugging everyone that Arizona Department of Transportation is having their board meeting in Chinle, the snow. So the coordination, because the right of way in some areas that we've been pushing, because a lot of these exit roads, it's the responsibility and I've been making the case that, I mean, it's just not a single home. There's a either as a family or as a relative who assumes it, called the chapter. The could the chapter be able to, or the nation be able to take the responsibility to say that yes, because everything that we do is always has to be channeled through the Navajo Nation. That's an area that I continue to be dealing with. Bus pull up that aid that design that because they got between many farms and Chinle Ilian what the she that's the Ilia, but at the Yego baby in the hot it got out at the edge. Not much was done for these bus pull out. Although these transit bus stop that I get the dash coordinate Ilia gosh quite get up. They got the transit bus and then is it necessary they only stop at these convenience stores or bashes and Chinle? What about in between the two communities? Quite a get the bus stop Balia gosh bigger hunt that on such a case. So that's one area that I'm hoping the incoming administration, as I always say, that I'm not going anywhere. Maybe I have a better advantage being a private citizen as a non-elected, that I'll be continued to be voicing a lot of these issues and so on such case. Because the other area that, again, two of my colleagues, Mr. Daniel and Mr. Nez, Chairman Nez are coming back in. Again, the broadband, smart highways, the 191 without council, you lost or you can't that's another area. So I just think it because with the new leadership coming in at the council level, at the nation level, and then of course the governor at Phoenix, Arizona level. And I kept saying, and I tried to sit down with the transition team at the Arizona state level. Because the thing is that ADOT, Mr. Thompson, our own Navajo, has chaired that board for the past year. And I believe that we really didn't take advantage of it as a Navajo Nation for road improvement on the Navajo Nation. Broadband, smart highway, because the former outgoing governor, Ducey, has selected all the interstate to be the smart highway. Navajo Nation this is still no through the opera funding. You know that $10 million public the coordination because even that itself, and that's on the southern I-40, those that the I-40 that runs through the Navajo Nation right of way. I've been bringing this up to the RDC meeting, and then on top of that, the Federal Highway Administration. The other thing too is that I appreciate NDOT hosting Transportation Secretary Buttigieg about a month ago in San Benito, and I know I'm sure I disappointed of the way I conducted myself to the Mr. Silversmith, because it wasn't intentionally or it wasn't personal, but it really we didn't really display the actual situation of our roads on the Navajo Nation. The Secretary of the United States Transportation, but what we really just showed him was that which was good. I believe that should have been and could have been at the later part, but and that's it. I mean, even with the secretary, I mean, you got to help the BIA, you got to help the counties, you got to help the Navajo Nation in some areas, like Shikwaja Bugapja or Burnt Corn Aja, you got the low crossing, cut bandit Nesdale Aja, on the street nesta. Then you've got Nazlini in 18 Aja got initiate another Yitla. And then I don't think in different areas. Oh, you go even last night. I tried to make. I want to make an amendment to see if we could set aside this helium project a certain amount of funding, and I indicate that to the council to say that I wish that INDOT would be taking part in making a recommendation that how much money is needed to set aside certain funding, even through debt service. I mean, it's just, I mean, if there's no involvement by the transportation in every area that we discuss transportation, and then the department is not involved, it's just like, okay, what are we supposed to do and how are we supposed to do it? Just like for myself in 860, Low Mountain to Palaka. I mean, that's a government-to-government relation, and then I've tried so hard for the current administrations to get involved, to sit down with the Hopi leadership. For I don't know. So ended going back to the other area that the Navajo Nation right of way, the term limit as of right now. How they interpret these term limit language in the right of way is 7 to 5. Is that Navajo Nation can take the road back or the right of way back. And that's another area that I've been bugging Mr. Silversmith and the RDC that okay, has on the right of way, get or to clarify it. It's maybe that every 7 to 5 years or review another because ADOT told me is that these term limit a lot of these right of way grant need. Ko ajo go stop quick machine bahanas hodji other yego sato and I know that Mr. Silverstone has took part when I met with the ADOT board administration aja like I said I think the ADOT transportation secretary is also leaving because of the new incoming administration. So, Chairman, I just wanted to be on record. And there's quite a few that we've been dealing with at the state, and even at the be a federal level agent that kunan the last back in November, late in December, at the beginning of this month that done last the Travel and Tour Budget Council. As you know, that I co-chaired the transportation. Again, where's the Washington office? Where's everyone in discussing this final outgoing report to Shnoda? I gave them my last report, but what we pushed over there was that more additional fundings for O&M for these dirt road because the Navajo Nation by yet to hit is the whole 500 plus tribes that actually the 12 region of the BIA called based on these aban not go recommend elia called and I tried to ask of because it's the data. That's the other thing that ADOT's been asking. I mean, what's the official data crash? The coordination of receiving data on maybe a quarterly base. Of course, the BIA's been asking for that, and ADOT had been asking for that because that's how these safety issues comes into play in designing and improving these roads. No, you hit your yes to call these data. I mean, just like a accident that it's never being compiled and it's never being disseminated. It's probably in the Navajo Nation, but it's never being shared with maybe the BIA or the state for their continuing improvement of study to say that okay, this is the high area of traffic accident that ile kwage a joke that ego in the benefit how seen so data, and I kept saying this to the Department of Transportation. Okay, highway safety, because how are they coordinating and getting and disseminating these data to these entities? So anyway, I know I'll be talking about the whole issues of what we've been doing as an RDC and what I've been taking part at the state, at the BIA, and even the county, and even the tribe and the federal level. That's one of the things that I based on how we've been want to push, because at all 60 million. So that's the other thing. That's one thing that I've been dealing with, that some of us has been dealing with, or that goes back to the Kodo in the state task force. And I know that I've met with Mr. Bilecki twice the past 2 months, and the process, as you know, that the state of Arizona, they allocated more than 53 million. And a portion of it, almost, I think half of it was for roads, for, I think it was Lupton, the western portion, and then the Sweetwater area. Based upon it, and that's the other thing that I've been asking, okay, especially for Sweetwater, GGA 10 million, based upon it, and now that the state has appropriated $10 million, Navajo Nation, based on and I sure like to get that portion. I want to be on record to say that, Chairman. Again, I mean, with the hard work of our chairman for the state task force, I mean, that was the outcome of it. I mean, 54 million for the Navajo Nation, and I think that's I guess, I don't know, a history in the state of Arizona government to allocate to a tribe, to one of the 22 tribes, and I'm sure other tribes are looking at us to say that why, or to the governor saying that, hey, I saw one tribe give base of but it was the effort and the work by all around of our legislatures and the state task force, and especially our lobbyists. and then even the speaker. Now the thing is that NDOT is really not taking part to say that okay, that basically up on the no couldn't edit up at the as administrators, we need to start transferring those fundings to onto the Navajo Nation, into the Navajo Nation budget. Need then. I mean, that's the same situation that I have with in 860 several years ago, 1.5 million based on that go Kodo at the Navajo Nation or at the Quagik and Han Town that's 860 oats for oat not 20 no the benefit and has nothing that's that hope you know that you need to that's okay, I better stop, Chairman. I know there's a whole lot that I want to deal with, even though that I really got off track in talking about TTIP legislation. But I guess those are some areas I think that the people and the community and being on record, the community needs to be in consideration, because just focusing us, okay, based on that, non-they are cutting the meat, so yeah, okay, other it on Nahisi Tandon, based on non-they on the Nahan Ninhanot at the Ohato at the Usher is Ashle. A call Harid Alaquador, even the tag, I mean, the latest, the infrastructure fund, based on even through the upper funding, based on Yundai test, call how much of these particular projects are we submitting application to these grant fundings that are being available. Or is really, will it complicate, delay a lot of these progress? Because I know coming January, I know there is just going to be one whole council for probably up to April, because oversight committee you seem to establish it unless the committee or the incoming council does things differently. That's a committee established in the because if there's a change in it, because like I said, in that will be idle to say that, well, oversight committee that to establish it but not it or that as obey don't need to keep it on Halit Allah quite but I need but I had to listen so bonsa case stop. A chairman Kudo again, but at the end of the day, I know a lot of time the way I feel like last night, one of my family member, one person, I don't want to name her, but you know, from Navajo time, that monitors a lot of our conversation. Kudo the naked at the town. I mean, how does she got delegate needs to think outside the box that could one community based above its height statement on social media. And my only response is that I mean that's the problem with our Navajo people. They don't understand what I say in Navajo. So my point is that what I've said and what I've done, Chairman, I don't know if I need to apologize to all of the division directors, the way I conducted myself throughout the 4 years as a delegate, as a committee member. But the only reason why, the only thing and what drives me around and what the way I talk is based on the situation that I've seen at the community level and the local level. It's never been any person that I'm making a statement directly because of how they look and how they act or how and who they are. It was always they're in the capacity of what they're holding. Issue that's it about the case of the shit that's even not not the onance and the set a call with that chairman. So again, that's my position and that's my statement. And I just want to say thank you for everyone to bearing with me. I mean, with the incoming council, I'm sure it'll be different as always, because that, I mean, going on my fourth term, it's always different administration. It's always different situation. So that's been the case throughout the 5 terms that I've been in, or actually 4 terms, with one being a staff. So what the chairman, what asking kudo sa linigi bahasi to listo to ke nan hidishi to list kudo to present that lagi chairman.
It's about Key Allen Begay Jr. Kurobachain Jiki. Bahunson Debayant Tiki do the Nabayant Tiki, Bahunson Dobikidish Tiki by Hinson. What ocean? Then I can eat cannot have that Hiki. Then Tiniki, but there's always an area on the Navajo Nation where there's progress being made. Not only roads, but buildings and other projects. Somebody's either getting water or electricity, so we get things done. Actually, social media. Never that in this end, Ocean Yadas hitting the Ocean Dahosil. It's on Lego, but like a yoso. Oh, dates at all, are a hint, is it that as I did. Oh, Winston, the show one, just queso. So it's really not factual information sometimes through social media. It's misinformation, people being misinformed. Oh, what about just queso? What another hope behind this? So, Honorable Freeland, Mr. Bradley, your response.
Thank you, Chairman. Shantai. Honorable Key Allen Begay Jr. I always appreciate your input, Shana, and I appreciate your comments as well. It was a real pleasure working with you on State Task Force as well. I know sometimes you and I were the only ones down in Phoenix trying to get monies to your area as well. And that was a negotiation that we had to work with LD7 leadership and the Republican Appropriations Committee. So it was a lot of negotiations that happened. And, you know, we were the messengers between the Democrat and Republicans. And, you know, I really appreciate you, brother. And I saw your firsthand, your advocacy in action. And whether it was roads or veterans or broadband, you had that desire and willingness to go that length. And I saw that firsthand in Phoenix and everything that you said and spoke for. And, you know, I really do appreciate that, brother. And, you know, 54 million is a lot. It was a starting point. And just think we could have had 44 million previously last year, but it didn't work out. So hopefully this will continue. These appropriations will continue. And hopefully we can get some money to your areas that you had aforementioned. And, you know, as a state task force chair, that was one of the many things that we did was work with the legislators, whether it was in Phoenix or Santa Fe or Salt Lake City, to really move these issues and put them up front at the forefront. And roads, the H60 was a huge one. And I know that. And I was very, very proud to stand alongside of you for that, your advocacy on that, as well as the smart highways. And what we did, what we try to do, US Highway 160 or 161, you know, those efforts I'm sure will continue with the 25th Council. But I really do appreciate your comments, brother. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Mr. Bradley, do you want to respond to my brother's comments related to some of the concerns that he has or he had aforementioned? In relation to what he just spoke of? Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Freeland. And again, I echo Delegate Freeland's sentiments regarding the input from Delegate Key Allen Begay Jr. I know it's been a pleasure working with him over the last, I guess for me, 12 years since I've been here at INDOT. I've greatly appreciated all of the input and insight that he's provided to us on transportation matters. You know, his advocacy on the federal, state, and community level has always had the community in mind. So, I greatly appreciate that insight from him. Regarding his first question regarding the, the incoming council and the T-tip, obviously, our marching orders have always been with regards to this transportation improvement plan is once it's been approved by Resources and Development Committee, that's the plan that we follow, over the course of the next 5 years. It's just so challenging as far as funding and getting these projects construction ready so that we can actually build them. So, Federal Highway, who oversees our program as well, has emphasized to us that, once these projects go on this tip, their expectation of us is that we follow through on those commitments. So that'll be our, as part of bringing new leadership up to speed with this 5-year plan and the importance of maintaining continuity in the plan. That'll be the Navajo Division of Transportation's charge moving forward. As you can see, there's a number of new projects on this 5-year plan, and we're committed on following through with all of those because there was very extensive outreach from our planning department, meetings, to receive input, data that we had to look at through our inventory, our road inventory, and of course ultimately providing these recommendations as part of this 5-year plan. So that's our marching orders moving forward, Delegate Begay, that once this gets approved, that this will be carrying us forward over the next 5 years. Now, I guess what I'll also bring up is that this tip could also be updated every year because, as if you're aware, every year a new fiscal year comes in at the tail end of the 5-year plan. So there's always opportunities to address priorities by including additional new projects, but a lot of times those will come in at the tail end of the 5-year plan. So we will continue to work with the communities. We'll continue to work with the oversight committee once they're in place as far as moving this tribal transportation improvement program forward. 8084, you mentioned the phased approach, and it's similar to what I was explaining to Delegate Daniels about, a number of these corridors are so long and obviously in dire need of improvements, whether it be bridges, roadways, paving the roadways, drainage improvements. The cost per mile at $3.3 million a mile is considerable when you add up, like say in 8084, where I think it's about a 20 mile corridor, and if you do simple math, you're looking at probably 65 to 70 million to build that whole entire corridor. You heard me earlier mention, each agency, in this case, Chinle Agency, will only receive 42 million of construction funds over the next 5 years to address, road improvement projects. So, that's daunting. Obviously there's just so many needs, but yet with the limited funding that we do receive, we try our best working with communities and the Resource and Development Committee to address those needs. And so, we're putting $12 million towards 3.6 miles of 8084. We're building 2 new bridges, to address, those concerns in the area. But the challenge, as I've explained to the chapter, is that, the continual pursuit of additional funding to continue on these improvements, as is you're basically competing against other other chapters across the nation who are vying for, these limited construction funds. I appreciate, with regards to the transition, I know that our planning department has been reaching out to a number of new delegates and have scheduled transition meetings to bring them up to speed with our planning process. How do you get projects on the tip? What are some of the criteria and data and process that we follow? I know that I'm sure they'll be reaching out to the incoming new delegate in the chapters that you currently oversee, that we'll get those scheduled with the coming new year as well. With regards to a number of the task force, the meetings, I really appreciate the insight that you brought, the advocacy at that level, advocating for construction funds to build much needed improvements out here. I know at the state level, we greatly appreciate the nation or the state allocating $10 million to N9402 in Lupton and $6 million to N35 in Sweetwater. And right now, Navajo DOT is currently working with the state on putting together the intergovernmental agreements that will kind of memorialize that handoff of the funding to the nation. So that's currently in progress, Delegate Begay, and it's important for us to get those agreements in place so we can begin, so that we can establish those business units and begin to work on addressing those much needed road improvements in those areas. We appreciate the support. I know Hopi 60 has been a major corridor that you've pursued. Majority of the roadway is on Hopi land, and you mentioned the government to government and the relationship and dialogue that you've had with local Hopi leaders, to try to get that project moving forward. And again, we're committed on working with the Hopi tribe and other potential funders, whether it be at state level or the federal level, to try to get funding to address, that 13-mile corridor. And we'll continue on moving forward to do what we can to address those needs. As far as the ADOT and the data, Navajo DOT, highway safety, our planning department, we collect crash data from all 7 police districts. And it's a laborious task on our part because we literally have to go in and dig through their paper records to extract information that we need to develop the database. And that database is critical for our strategic highway safety plan and any other funding applications that are submitted by not only us, but also our partners, whether they be at the county and others. So we take that very seriously. We are working and collaborating with the Division of Public Safety to implement what we refer to as tracks, which is kind of a computerized software to where the capture of that data will be immediate, so that it'll eliminate the need of NDOT having to dig through paper records to do that. And you're absolutely right that that data is so crucial for anyone who's looking to address some of these high priority hotspots on the nation, that that we could secure funding to address those types of needs. And I know that the funding for the safety funding has increased over the last couple of years, and so it's crucial that we definitely partner with both our federal and state partners to do what we can to address those areas on the nation. And with that, as far as the infrastructure funding, we are right now, as I mentioned earlier, we are submitting a number of bridge applications, for funding. That pot of money has grown considerably under the new highway bill. And so we're working with Federal Highway and not only our BIA partners, but also our county partners to address, right now it's to address existing bridges that have been rated in poor condition based on their latest inspection reports, to secure as much money as we can for both designing and getting the project construction ready. And then of course, when construction funds to actually build, these bridge improvements. So we'll continue to do that. We continue to pursue funding, safety funding as those notice of funding opportunities come out. We're constantly submitting applications for that. So, that'll always continue for us. But again, we greatly appreciate your input and your advocacy on transportation matters. With that, Chair, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Honorable members of RDC, any other comments or questions? We've been on this legislation a little over an hour now. Chairman. Honorable Vice Chair Walker, you have the floor.
Yes, Chairman, I'll be brief. Not only committee members, staff, the sponsor of the legislation, Honorable Freeland, I don't sponsor your agent as well, Mr. Bradley from INDOT. Just a comment I want to make. You support the legislation, and I am a co-sponsor for this bill. Appreciate the time and effort it took to develop the 5-year plan for the Navajo Nation as far as transportation and roads are concerned. As indicated by Mr. Bradley, this isn't going to address all the needs in each community. It'll address some of the needs, and more importantly, maybe the basic needs. And then, as always, it's a start, new start. This new 5-year plan is another start or another step in the direction the nation is headed as far as taking care of its transportation roads needs for our people. So I hear the commitment, dedication, passion coming so strong from one of our colleagues, Honorable Key Allen Begay. We sometimes don't verbalize it or don't show it, but we also share that passion for this area of developing our nation, this area of need, transportation and roads. It's everything, just like water and electricity and communication, healthcare, education, businesses, and that. Without that, our predecessors, 23rd Navajo Nation Council adopted the current 5-year plan, just like what we're considering today. We supported the plan and were able to work with it up to now. And of course, we point out the imperfections and the flaws of that plan also. A lot of ways to criticize some of these decisions and resolutions. They need but you can't need to that know that. But it the cost. But I'm not but another delay 5-year plan. Nigi nas banat il nesto the ne hit nan hit in dot in hit ne that the harchine that I don't know just hold a penditi in dadnish. So that Iban Saski the call. Although to Mr. Bradley and in dot lay priority setting is very important, very critical. Justifying priorities. I think all the projects are certainly justified. They're justified needs. There isn't any project on the plan that's not needed or just they're all based out of needs. Just before I close, Lee, Grand Falls, Arizona, and Loop community. That Grand Falls crossing, critically needs a bridge. The justification there is the people, community members, the elders, the children that cross that bridge, that crossing. Well, there's no bridge, but the crossing each and every day to go to school. Other people that are employed, they cross that crossing. It needs a safe crossing, safe passage from one side of the community to the other. And I do hear some advocacy where tourism is brought in as a justification for the bridge. So that may be the case, but for my advocacy, it's the people that we serve, the day-to-day residents of that area, those communities. Tourism, we're not tourists, Tourists are people that are just passing through, wandering around, curious about our homelands, curious about our culture, our life ways, and so forth. So our priorities are become different there. The justification always has to be the people, our people that live in these areas where bridges, roads are needed. For tourists, when we're advocating, when we're prioritizing, the people should always come first. Although the others are considered, although of course tourists are members of the public. Advocating for the people. I wanted to just say that again, Mr. Chairman and committee members, and I do support this legislation. Although continue to seek resources and funding. That's my encouragement to NDOT. Bradley, the in 319 Baca Loop Bridge, there's, that's not funded, but the message we hear today here is that you will continue to seek funding and resources to address some of those projects. But there are several other bridges in our community and roads, and in 71 over in Bird Springs. By springtime, the project should be near finishing or should be finished. And it's been a 30-plus year wait for that project. But I spent 3 terms now just watching the progress of that very, very slow development of that road that's very much needed for City to Arizona. So I'm ending my term on that note, and still it's not. We haven't done that ribbon cutting to celebrate the completion of that road. Not only. I don't let things in the shadow. I don't go to either say, because I did that, the things are done there. That seems about that the initial things of Naya Tinhitcha. Those are how age 80 cutting. I think hard now. I thought ego joins and the Jordan the Kada. But that's all now. Mr. Bradley and Mr. Silversmith and the good people of NDOT. Thank you for your hard work and your dedication as always. You're one of the departments that work around the clock, is from where I see it, and I think a lot of our divisions programs, departments are like that, whether we're in the pandemic or not. That's just the way our government is, and that's how we take care of our nation, our people. And with that, Chairman, yeah, yeah, thank you, Honorable Vice Chair Walker. Let me go back to Honorable Freeland.
Thank you, Chairman Aroshanantai. Che, thank you very much. I always appreciate your perspective, Che, and I always appreciate your input as well. And I value that, and I really respect all of my colleagues' input. And going forward, just knowing that I was able to serve with all of you, and knowing that each of you have a unique perspective, and I really do appreciate that. Shanantai. Mr. Bradley, do you want to respond as well?
Thank you, Delegate Freeland. And again, thank you very much, Delegate Walker, for those comments. We greatly appreciate your involvement, on RDC over the last 4 years, and in working with us on a number of road improvement projects. And we're committed on getting that N71 completed in the spring, and we'll definitely invite you to the ribbon cutting when that happens. But we're very excited and appreciate the patience of the Bird Springs City chapter and community as we constructed that much needed road improvement in access road over to the Little Singer School. And we will continue on with the next phase to eventually make that paved road connection, into there south of the Little Colorado River. So, that's our commitment. Those projects are on the tip, and we're committed on getting that work done. Also, we appreciate the input regarding the Grand Falls crossing. I know that you've advocated, as well as the community, to have a bridge built over the Little Colorado River to provide, much needed, really in some cases, emergency access during inclement weather, to get across the river there. And we'll continue to work with the community and see what we can do to build a project that, and seek additional funding, that could possibly make that project a reality in the future. But again, our planning department, really spearheads a lot of that effort, working with the local chapters and community to get what's needed in order to pursue funding for that project. And again, I appreciate your support as the co-sponsor in supporting this legislation. The N319 bridge is on the tip, and we have submitted a bridge application, for design preliminary engineering services for that project. So once we get this tip approved, then we can share that document with Federal Highway Administration, and hopefully soon we could see some funding, to at least begin the engineering and preliminary work on that project. But with that, again, Delegate Walker, I appreciate your input and your leadership and advocacy, and your always good words for Navajo DOT. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Honorable members of RDC, any other comments or questions? Are you ready to vote? Going twice? 3 times. Honorable Vice Chair Walker, how do you vote?
Chairman, I vote green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Begay?
Chairman Kell votes green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Daniels votes green according to his text message he just sent. Honorable Freeland?
I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Stewart.
Green, Chairman.
Thank you. We have a vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting. Motion carries on legislation 0264-22. Thank you, Honorable Freeland. Thank you, Mr. Bradley.
Okay, launch committee members, Althenigi, and staff. Thank you very much for your assistance today.
Big. Honorable Vice Chair Walker, could you facilitate this part of the meeting? My next legislation is up, so.
Chairman, thank you. Mr. Tahi, can you read into the record the next legislation?
Vice Chair Walker, member of RDC, you have legislative summary sheet for tracking number 0269-22, date September 21st, 2022. Title of the resolution, proposed standing committee resolution, an action relating to Resource and Development Committee, approving the Navajo Nation Joint Farm Board Conservation Plan template for use by individual permittees of the Navajo Nation major irrigation farm projects. Purpose. The purpose of this legislation is to approve the Navajo Nation Joint Farm Board Conservation Plan template for use by individual permittees of the Navajo Nation major irrigation farm board project. Resource and Development has final authority over this legislation, which we read into the record in its entirety. The primary sponsor for this legislation is Honorable Ricky Nez, co-sponsor Honorable Mark A. Freeland. For tracking number 0269-22, an action relating to Resource and Development Committee, approving the Navajo Nation Joint Farm Board Conservation Plan template for use by individual permittees of the Navajo Nation Major Irrigation Farm Board Project. Be enacted. Section 1A. The Resource and Development Committee is established as a Navajo Nation Standing Committee with oversight over land to establish Navajo Nation policies with respect to the optimum utilization of all Navajo Nation resources and to protect the rights, interests, sacred sites, and freedoms of the Navajo Nation and people to such resources now and for future generations. 2 in NC section 500A, 2 in NC section 500C2. B, the Resource and Development Committee has oversight over farm boards. 2 in NC section 501C1. Section 2, findings. A, the purpose of this legislation is to approve the Navajo Nation Joint Farm Board Conservation Plan template for use by individual permittees of the Navajo Nation major irrigation farm board projects. The Farm Conservation Plan template is attached as Exhibit A. B, the Navajo Nation Joint Farm Board developed the Farm Conservation Plan template to cover aspects of conservation practices since Navajo farmers are the steward of the land. Resolution of the Navajo Nation Joint Farm Board dated December 5th, 2017, Exhibit B. C, the Executive Official Review Form is attached as Exhibit C. Section 3, approving the Navajo Nation Joint Farm Board Conservation Plan template for use by individual permittees of the Navajo Nation Major Irrigation Farm Project. A, the Resource and Development Committee hereby approves the Navajo Nation Joint Farm Board Conservation Plan template for use by individual permittees of the Navajo Nation Major Irrigation Farm Board projects. Attaches Exhibit A. B, the Resource and Development Committee hereby directs the Navajo Nation Department of Agriculture to provide a copy of this resolution to the Navajo Regional Bureau of Indian Affairs Office. Attaches Exhibit A, which is the Farm Conservation Plan, Navajo Nation Major Irrigation Farm Board Conservation Plan template used by its individual permittees. Attaches Exhibit B, which is a resolution of the Navajo Nation Joint Farm Board. Attaches Exhibit C, which is the Navajo Nation's Department of Justice 164 review form. Then you have the first report, the Navajo Nation Legislative Branch Internet Public Review Summary for legislation number 0269-22, sponsors Honorable Ricky Nez. This legislation was posted on December 22nd, 2022 at 10:50 a.m. The 5-day comment period ended December 27th, 2022. There was no comment supporting this legislation, no comments opposing this legislation, and no comments or recommendation on this legislation. Vice Chair Walker, member of RDC, that is legislation number 0269-22 read into the record. Back to you, Vice Chair Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Tahi, for the reading of the document. Resource Development Committee members, is there a motion for the legislation?
Chairman, Vice Chair Chiche, I'll motion. Freeland.
Thank you, Honorable Freeland. That motion. Is there a second?
Stewart.
To Honorable Stewart. Yeah, cool. Kid, no, Ajigi. Honorable Chair Nez. Now we don't. So if you can identify your agents also, we'll give you the floor to give the statements and presentation on your legislation. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair Walker, honorable members of RDC. All this legislation is it's creating a template. Echo Konet and Nebutag at the Haloniki, but permittees. Arotida for irrigation canals, do Tochon Ingi planiki, conservation planiki, exhibit A, Yastigi, what auto late, Nenegate throughout the Navajo Nation. You had data farm board again a aja each choice either a hoshin coron names in Hokoro dark ne in none can do then yana not saying that a data. So it is what our dish just our was she what Italy, Honorable Vice Chair Walker. Back to you, sir.
Thank you, Chairman Nez, for your statement there. First of all, the committee members, do you have any questions or comments to the legislation? Any comments, questions? Going once?
Chairman Kellen.
Okay, Hagoshi, Honorable Kellen, begin the floor.
Hopefully I don't take too much time here. I appreciate some of the Kodo document that we want to have our farmers utilize. The one thing that Shanantana Senegi, I know I don't know if it's possible to include to say that this is the dollar amount that we could be able to do it the way I see in many farms. Based on, it's always the administration having the funding to get their programs working. They getting the equipment, getting the operation in place, having the resources, the staff, peso, nothing. But what farmers in Liniki, yes, is the availability of equipment, so resource, so pesos I mean, I may be wrong, but that's one thing that the main reason why a lot of our farmland as of today are idle. And the one thing for many farms, the key obviously is the water. For the past, I don't know, 10 years, that's is linked. I don't know what you're so yeah, understand the has not been getting back into its capacity. You've seen it. When we did a tour about 2 years ago up in many farms, late state. When you look at it, I mean, it's just about, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4 feet deep. but that doesn't it's not enough. We're appreciative of the weather, but not much of it is being captured overall. That's another thing that we're having a problem. For example, many farms diversion dam, and the reason why we've been pushing to have the Army Corps to really implement watershed study. The kite or was all the that the Navajo Nation is able to capture. When you hit the Virgin Dam, Linigi is going to cost a lot of money. But I really feel that somehow that with having some of these natural availability, such as, like I said, water, I mean, how do we really encourage our farmers to do something further? Even dry farmland, dry farming, that should be Ado kodo state that the base of baby can that what gain the shin sato that you go baby chen that has sato the nan linigi. So these are the areas I know that a lot of our farmers are not Toyego ikandan tada a cocoa kadet hate again these idols of farmland. Now the one thing that we're in a situation for many farms area gives a lot of these farm plots to look at the late no quite get the you on these farmland. We're talking about 5 years, 10 years. Then to some extent, some of these farm plots at the corners or even grave sites. So these are the areas that we're encountering. Conservation plan. I mean, what's a step up rather than the old cannot need just the way I say that community land use plan need what comes with it for the chapter to utilize to implement these plans. Now think at farm, I mean we could we could put everything. I want to grow corns, grapes, and even going to a lot of food products. We could list 20, 40, 50, 100 pages of plan. But I mean, how it's going to be improved, especially the availability of equipment for all these farm districts. Equipment that chapters heavy equipment budget. But they're having a problem of having an operator for tractors. As ango yego that's farm equipment be that loaned just to produce and develop a farm plot. Going to cost them more just produce a 1 row of corn. So that ego halit I know it's always the last minute and they all conservation plan to get aimed. But with this conservation plan, could we implement to say that there'll be resource of funding being available for them? So you cut a baby kite or what maybe. And that's always the case. The one thing that we as Navajo don't realize, such as like the federal government, a lot of these farmers that produces crops for the usage for the people of the U.S. citizens, they're getting millions and millions of dollars of subsidies. on like oversight committee of the United States Senate or the House of Representatives. I mean, they argue about this is how much we need to put in just so that we be able to have sufficient food supply, food product for the nation, even though the net legal different countries go be kite or was a based on the of farmers young the subsidies according to the need nash ego go 1,000 pages had been down there, but now could $1 not dot us or that well but you're on your own afterward or the store. So these are the things that I think about and what we're struggling with for me here in many farms. But on the other hand, you've seen that the committee members, I mean, there's several artesian wells on the west side of the east side of the lake that are available water every day, 24/7, 375 or 365 days a year. And I know several years ago, the last term, the council appropriated several $1 million for several communities, including mini farms. And what we've been pushing and what I've been pushing is that the water, deep water wells, the water is being replenishing in the lake. Water well, irrigation system, keep it hard to don't so the snow that the know that and the problem is that a lot of our departments, again, water resource, the irrigation office, Department of Agriculture are really not stepping up, even with this crop insurance. Funding is being, our land is being utilized, but yet it's really not being reinvested back into the communities. Conservation plan but if not the resource equipment that other intended you if you look down in mini farms it's not that these updated people that head up a and then of course having the erosion for several years out of these farmland in there. How do we help our farmers get these land back in the nutrition state, in the growing stage? Because a lot of our farm plots, you'll say, if you look closely, and one time, what the said, there was a vehicle that veered off a highway north of mini farms, it's literally over a mile. I have a picture of it. I mean, what the vehicle stopped was a tree by my house. Tree didn't only one stand that's one mile don't stand and to you being or then it I think that but it I think the Ecuador I don't know it's one area that's in the law this means but could out dig a bigger she don't say that hey couldn't that the store. So these are the things that the availability of resource via a basis I mean and to post EJ but it's not even enough and that's the other thing that I've been addressing to Department of Agriculture at BIA level, Mr. Curley. Although our own Navajo Nation is agency level, what our baby a call what ego what I've heard the last time is that it could be in Kaiji, on the other could also done that been cut not each store. So these are some things that think about in such case. How much more of a headache that we continue to employ our Navajo people with documents to say that I mean, again, it's a wish list in a way, a wish plan. I mean, but then again, once they've done developing and filling out the application or the document, and then the question will be that, okay, how much will it cost to do this? Or do we say that, okay, conservation plan that would be successful, but if it's going to cost you more, like for example, hey, I've noticed because back in my days, I know my dad used to grow grow hay. Not in stone, that chairman. So that's one thing that I really want to say that, I mean, what could we infuse in this particular legislation to say that this is how much money would be and can be available for our farmers out in the area, and how much is it? Or could that be done? Like I said, this is the 11th hour, the 24th council, and I'm sure that probably the next council leader in the chairman. I mean, I think there's need a recommendation on that one. Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Kealan Begay, for your comments and some of your questions. Chairman Nez, do you want to respond to our honorable committee members here? Honorable Vice Chair Walker, Honorable committee members, and Honorable Begay, Honorable Bahinchiki, Nathan, Wait, Ole, Eso. This order either betas on order to be lana eatle. Either I mean club manuals, Bobby Landa eatle gate or did the chapters. Ado did been his cohort heki the Nabana Sabakat at the Holongo Sato Peret Aligahikishi either. So people don't have equipment. Perhaps they cannot afford it for whatever reason. They hang on to farms, but they don't use it. I'm speaking from experience because along San Juan River, Lisa de la hemp to marijuana credo ligestano. Which is that teacher what's it was passed down to their heirs. Because did joint farm board back in 2017, there's a hot auto late don't need go. Naswalia, this need could end at the need chose 5-6 years later. A co yen the Agi plan, conservation plan, the Nebenan Tindo Lestida, Dak Epahayaki, Dak Echon Igik et Leto, Ibits Ado based on the dot, what are. And that Dak Epan Anishko, Ado Tosketa, Art and the Tant it Adida, Kayanas Nelgojo Art and the Johut Ego Yaskito, understanding soil, height, dida says, Gi Esto. Ado Sahoda Tani do Sahoik that says Dunjanto height dida the net educated or nasty agricultural management. Irrigation management has under late August it is, Kirtland and water flow. They have a schedules but a hello farmers Pelagana dot and Kerahat. Today of Eagle, they have schedules on certain days that they'll use water to irrigate their farms, and they use it to their capacity. A water rights you go ben Hawin and Tida. Porochos Ida Nidag Honors Nel idle farms and hit that no. Nedan Hitna Google Earthings on deal it in Nequi Hashi code okay. So get at the Tleho and Nedan Hitna. Haben Hawin in Giholo. Oko quite all a echo did get the legato lehit the nature and the Kakodo Hashi or. Obolni get out of it down the dole. The rest na she da kapit out chashian that nesk anna giza neshji belasana that as at that soft that as apricots like grapes get that le the nessa hodat yodak here the haliat of the banal loshia be the halna okodo I see it negot on the nita. The economic part of it. But that honors Neliki or no yenas a lot of prairie dog mounds. I don't east the orders at Saho. I guess oh I don't host the header. A co now you had need out on has lane. We're willing to go to a grocery store and buy our food rather than grow it. Today, I guess Chonda Elne art one should be taught though the country on the Elne. Kate all a David and the Kacho Elne got yen the Ashi dida, though yadas fit o yantabene. A colago, base of best on base of Holon at that opest on. They call chapters in the Lee River Bank or farm equipment, but I hold on the there's farms that are still idle. They have farm equipment. I don't like hogback. You have to talk neck kisigi on a chon. The neck edit habits are about in that le. Ebony now, one of my legislations will speak to fixing that. I could the neck edit later than yeah. I could not go on how to on ne hatna data. I don't need a bias to get on here that is out than the farm board, but that is a could end the day plan give a large nail. Quite all a DA not in the stole, quite all a okay, less Moscow. Even through the agriculture infrastructure fund, the Sheen, cow machine, okay, less. They sato. Holiday Bella say clean Natana Benaco. Satoki are lay Winslow bigger to are Lucas or Hans to Washing Peso. Babacha Alia Quitak and Nadol Katniki that Nak a hollow that's in the Hodol nest. Tone Hilchadazna, Tone Le Gotchatazna. Late and a hot sahad that what I had out or Harlan lay Nuzland and I think could only chinly do 10 sades other than a hot such an agent. I don't late fortune, San Juan River open natla. Oh, you talk. I don't know where Shanto then Nahaltito then Tudnish Kayenta than a hot so agent. He's not long or two Lego Ilna. Like Powell, on history as long. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Sato Basasati place at it no RDC, Nisa Balata is kit. Ahodat Ego Ahna Nabikiel take up in a wheat or Totahidit or Lake at the Holia, as many farms at hate, George Holiago. I don't know. Equipment at better Halno, are there Nani Kaya the Sitsella, equipment or Chova, tractor hold on horses are that needs to be put to use. Sitsella. The people need to know that there's equipment available for them to rehabilitate their farmlands, go back to the farm, get a Hodat egoshi nipa neto ahut abayam te. A cocodo afodenitzen. I don't know archido. Look at your his archido wheat fields now on second ganado goya. Archinle the farm the hallo to go that twitch as lengo. We have to start somewhere. It has to start somewhere. Oba yel tiko ani on lego. Oh, the hosil at Osigego. Then the nails tafta ani na snake and it hahol no. Underneath alcohol disease. We have to go back and start these things in the height. So it is about this decision, and we really do need to encourage our people to go back to farming. You see, there's a lot of good from it. My family farms even Nadishna, and if you're ever in this area, just let me know in the summer. I can take you to my family's farm and look at it and get at nothing. And especially when you plant hay, that hay can last up to about February. I don't let the other queen chicks cannot you get your first cut again. You start saving that again, and you kind of rotate your fields also. In 1 year, you keep rotating it. Yes, a conservation plan. So and back to you, Honorable Walker.
Thank you, Chairman Nez, for your responses. Other committee members, Kishinana, comments, questions to the legislation? So I'm going to call for the vote on the main motion. Honorable Kealan McGay, how do you vote?
Chairman Kealan votes green. Thank you.
Honorable McGay. Honorable Herman Daniels, how do you vote? Honorable Herman Daniels, how do you vote?
Green.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Daniels. Honorable Mark Freeland, how do you vote? Honorable Mark Freeland, how do you vote? And Honorable Wilson Stewart, how do you vote?
Nez, Chairman Nez, I want your second cut of hay for my green vote. You just green, green.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Stewart. Hello, Chairman Nez, how do you vote?
Delegate Rick Nez votes green.
Okay, going back up, Honorable Mark Freeland, how do you vote?
I vote green, Che. Sorry.
Okay. A vote of 5 in favor, Chairman or a Vice Chair not voting, although there's none opposed. So the motion carries. Yeah. So back to you, Chairman Nez. You have the gavel, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Vice Chair Walker, for facilitating this part of the meeting. We're down to C legislation 0270-22. Honorable Vice Chair Walker is the sponsor. Mr. Sahai, could you read this into the record, please? Thank you.
Chair members of RDC, you have legislation summary sheet for tracking number 0270-22, date December 21st, 2022. Title of the resolution, proposed standing committee resolution, and action relating to Resource and Development Committee, approving amendments to the plan of operation for the Division of Community Development. The purpose of this legislation is to approve the amended plan of operation for the Navajo Nation Division of Community Development. Resource and Development Committee has final authority over this legislation, which we read into the record in its entirety. The primary sponsor of this legislation is Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. for tracking number 0270-22, an action relating to Resource and Development Committee, approving amendments to the plan of operation for the Division of Community Development. Be enacted. Section 1, authority. The Resource and Development Committee has the power to grant final approval for the plan of operation, including any amendments for the Division of Community Development. 2, in NC Section 501B2 small g. Section 2, findings. A, the Division of Community Development has requested amendments to its plan of operation, which is established as Exhibit A. B, Resolution RDCO-17-16 amended the Division of Community Development's Master Plan of Operations. Resolution RDCO-77-16 is attached as Exhibit B. C, Resolution RDCAU-71-18 as amended by the Division of Community Development Plan of Operation for the Administrative Service Center. Resolution RDCAU-71-18 is attached as Exhibit C. The Section 164 review form is attached as Exhibit D. Section 3, rescinding Resolution RDCAU-71-18. The Navajo Nation hereby rescinds Resolution RDCAU-71-18, Exhibit C. Section 4, amending the Plan of Operation for the Division of Community Development. Navajo Nation hereby amends Resolution RDCO-77-16 and approves the Plan of Operation for the Division of Community Development as provided in Exhibit A. Attaches Exhibit A, which is the Master Plan of Operation for the Division of Community Development. Attaches Exhibit B, which is the resolution of the Resource and Development Committee of the 23rd Navajo Nation Council, second year, 2016, RDCO-77-16. Attaches Exhibit C, resolution of the Resource and Development Committee, the 23rd Navajo Nation Council, fourth year, 2018, RDCAU-71-18. Attaches Exhibit D, which is the Section 164 review form for document number 019105, date issue 0801-2022. Then you have the first report, the Navajo Nation Legislative Branch Internet Public Review Summary for legislation number 0270-22, sponsors Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. This legislation was posted on December 22nd, 2022 at 10:56 a.m. The 5-day comment period ended December 27th, 2022. There was no comment supporting this legislation, no comments opposing this legislation, no comments and recommendation on this legislation. Chair, members of RDC, that is legislation number 0270-22 read into the record. Back to you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Tahi. Honorable members of RDC, let's have a motion and a second.
Motion, Stewart.
Honorable Stewart, thank you. Second. There's a second.
Mr. Chair, this is Daniel.
Honorable Daniels, thank you. Honorable members of RDC, we had numerous work sessions on this plan of operation for the Division of Community Development. Are there any comments or questions? Going twice. Going 3 times. We'll put it to a vote. Honorable Vice Chair Walker, how do you vote?
Chairman, I vote green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Begay? Honorable Daniels?
Chairman Kale votes green. Sorry.
Thank you, Honorable Begay. Honorable Daniels?
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Freeland?
Green.
Thank you. Honorable Stewart? Honorable Stewart?
Green, Chairman.
We have a vote of. Thank you, Honorable Stewart. We have a vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed. Chair not voting. Motion carries. Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair Walker.
Chairman, though, committee members for approving the legislation. I believe this is the last legislation before the 24th Council's Resource and Development Committee. Dr. Yellowman, your staff, Deputy Director Ed Kai, from ASC though, Shitsui, from Dr. Martin, Rosa, DOJ chapter unit, Roger Begay, Kwadi, Nan Shidaki, so scored, Nakasa, Dolia, Hadne, Benahit, Zoto, Hatzohoki, Nan Shiliako, Ado Chairman Yahod Nade, Quichiwan, the seat indeed, plan of operation, a consumption, Nan Spin Dashi Nishlako, Junat Ani, and Faba Kenson. Ishing be yet nada initially nature. There's not being over on there's not passing we such a but banan should that indicate that as well as other programs and other departments. Okay, what about not Chair? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair Walker. Ado Kashinos Nanadole. Number 8, close of meeting. Any other announcements? We have a session here right now at 10 o'clock. Motion to adjourn?
Freeland.
Sure, I'm open.
Honorable Freeland, motion, second by Honorable Vice Chair Walker. We'll go ahead and put it to a vote. Honorable Vice Chair Walker, how do you vote?
Chairman, I vote green.
Thank you. Honorable Gay?
Chairman Calvert green. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Daniels?
In that or Nick, I'm gonna vote red. Mr. Chair, I vote green.
Okay. Honorable Freeland?
Well, green.
Okay. Honorable Stewart?
Green, Chairman.
Thank you. We have a vote of 5 in favor, 0 opposed, chair not voting, motion carries. It is now 10:02 a.m. We are officially adjourned.
Oh.